So this map shows the entire route from the Echo Lake trailhead all the way to the summit of Mount Evans. Now if you choose the Summit Ridge Loop finish, which I did on this occasion and which I recommend, then the endurance stats are as listed: around 13 miles round trip, 5,300 feet in total elevation gain. I have posted a video of the entire hike and climb to the summit that day. I will link that for you in the description and in the comments section. However, this video has to do with the stretch shown in red, which takes you through the Chicago Lakes Basin. Now this stretch comprises the main part of what I consider to be, anyway, one of the most distinctive and picturesque approach hikes to any of the Colorado 14ers that I've ever climbed. Immediately following the cabins, we reach the entrance to the Mount Evans wilderness area. What we now know as Mount Evans and Mount Bierstadt, along with their many subsidiary 13ers, were actually once collectively known as the Chicago Mountains, having been dubbed that back in the 1860s by miners from that city. Now Mount Evans itself was once known as Mount Rosalie, it having been called that also back in the 1860s by German-American painter Albert Bierstadt, having visited this area a number of times. Now Bierstadt had been painting in a style of dramatic, luminescent western landscapes for audiences back east, and one of his more famous paintings was very largely modeled after the view south towards Mount Evans from this very basin. I'll show you that painting a little bit later in this video. And finally, it was in 1895 that the mountain was renamed after John Evans, the second territorial governor of Colorado. And continuing along south-southwest on this trail through the forest, we're approaching 11,000 feet, probably at about, maybe 10,800 or so. You see this rock face off to my left. Rogers Peak off towards the south there, and our ultimate destination further to the south, the high ridge of Mount Evans. Don't be intimidated now. After an initial relatively flat stretch of that trail through the forest, it has picked up into a more steadily steep grade here. roughly 11,000 feet here. See, this section of the trail actually has water running along it, which is no surprise given, as I said, the late snows. There's another creek crossing. We're at roughly 11,500 feet here on this kind of downward-ish stretch through this forest. There's a lot of muddy ground in this stretch here. Look at that. Try to use the logs and rocks as much as possible. Go through a lot of willows in this area. Kind of a bushwhacky kind of a segment here. And you can see the lower Chicago Lake down there. We actually passed by that above it. And what we're going to end up doing is basically making our way diagonally between the two Chicago lakes once we get up here. And we're going to emerge at the northeast corner of the upper Chicago Lake. So this is the bank of snow between lower and upper Chicago Lakes. Now, 5 years ago in 2014, when I climbed this route on June 30th, this snowbank was about the same size as you see here. Now fast forward to last year, 2018, when I was on this route on June 29th, this bank of snow was down to about 15 feet across or so, no more. Now here it is in 2019 on July 17th, and it's still the size that it is. Now I'm going to come up here and see what kind of snow I'm going to have to go across this time. Okay, it looks like more of it is melted out than was the case on June 30th of 2014. Because on that date, the part I'm walking through right now is pretty much entirely snow covered still. But again, there's still almost that much snow here on July 17th. And we've emerged up here. There's Upper Chicago Lake. And it's pretty windy up here. It's at this point that the wind, in the past times I've been on this route, the wind has tended to pick up pretty much right at this point as you get up here. And we're going to cross northern part of the Upper Chicago Lake here. Here we are crossing the north end of the Chicago Lake, the water that passes between the two Chicago lakes. At this point, you've pretty much reached the south end of the basin and the end of this stretch. Now what you're looking at right here is a rock slide that had happened about 5 years prior to this. I did make a separate video talking about that, which I will link also. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.